Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm out today. I've got my hat on because it's actually a little bit warmer out and sunny. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to go look for plants for bonsai, or possibly propagating. Maybe both. Probably both. So what I've got over here is a couple buckets of water, a cat, some gas in case I run out of gas out there somewhere. You can't even see everything. Anyway, yes, hi. What are you doing? So, I got my shovel, my rake, and the water is so that I can take the cuttings or the plants and just stick it in the water to get it back to the house. Alright, so I don't think you're gonna come with us, so sweetheart. I don't think you would enjoy that. I don't think you'd enjoy the ride. I know you can't really see it that well, but back there in the trees, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take the mower back there because we have a lot of down trees. I might have to walk that. So I just wanted to show you here that I did make it back into these trees. I kind of had to swerve all over the place and go over by the fence there and go over by those vehicles, and I'm almost stuck here at this point. I might be able to go through these two trees here and maybe make it back over this way somewhere, but I don't know if I'm even going to try to do that. There used to be a little road right over here, but the trees have fallen down and almost completely blocked it. As you can see, most of these trees are dead or dying. And these are elm trees. So I don't know if it was the drought or Dutch elm disease or what may have killed all of them, but most of them are dead. So what I'm looking for, and I don't know if this is a good candidate or not, but you can see the main tree died, but it sent up this the sapling. So, which is really, it's a tree now. That thing's about probably close to 8 feet tall. But what I'm looking for, and I don't think this one is a good candidate because it appears that most of the branches are dead. I don't see a lot of buds on them, and they're very brittle. So I don't think this one's a very good candidate. I think this one's probably dead. But there may be some over there. I can see where that one, most of that one has died actually. I don't even know if there are any good candidates out here. But I'm looking for trees that have buds on them still and branches that I can maybe harvest. That's mostly for cuttings. And I was gonna see if I could grow some cuttings that will hopefully be healthy. We've got to get most of these trees out of here and actually start replacing these trees with something healthy. So it's kind of sad when we first moved down here, and it was 20 years ago, but this was like a little mini forest out here, and now it's just dead. So anyways, I will see what I can find. Okay, sorry guys, the wind picked up here a little bit. So I did manage to make it through there. Kind of had to serpentine my way. But the only things I found that really look promising are these little trees right here. So I'm going to go ahead and dig these up. And they're probably attached to this larger tree, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and dig these up. At least this one over here. I may leave this one. I think if nothing else, this one does have some buds on it, and I could certainly make many cuttings off of it. But I'm gonna dig it up and see if we can maybe make a bonsai out of it. I don't know. We shall see. And then after I get this little tree out, I'm going to head out into the field and take a look at some of the stuff out there. I hope you guys can see this clearly enough, but this is what they call a sucker, and I was right, it's attached to that tree over there. So this is the root coming off of that tree, and this has very little root of its own. So, and that's a pretty thick root that we've got going on here. I was hammering away at it with my shovel. I don't know. I might have to go get a saw or something to try to get that out. The good news is it's definitely still alive. So I'm gonna work at this a few more minutes, see if I can get this thing out. And I'm pretty sure that this one here is a sucker too. And I'm just gonna leave it alone. We're just gonna work on this one and see if we can get this one out. I fought with this thing for a while. What I noticed is it has a really nice line here. So I went and I got my saw. I'm gonna go ahead and just saw this thing off rather than continue to fight with this root. All right, I'm a little out of breath, guys. But after sawing and pulling, I did finally get this, I don't know if you'd call it a sapling. I guess it's still a sapling out. And I stuck it in the water. It doesn't have a whole lot of roots, so I'm gonna have to come up with some way of planting this thing. And then I also need to trim it, because I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to use the main tree as a bonsai, because it's got this really interesting trunk coming off here. And then the secondary trunk, maybe it would make a good second bonsai, but I'm gonna trim a lot of the little branches off and see if I can't propagate some of them. And we'll see how this little experiment goes. I also accidentally broke a branch off, so I went ahead and stuck it in the water. Now, our next location is going to be out in the field. I'm gonna look for some sagebrush that might be good bonsai. And I know that those things have a deep taproot, so I'm just gonna bring all my tools with me and go see what we can find. I'm gonna try to find smaller ones so that I'm not fighting with it for, I think I spent almost an hour getting this thing out. Anyway, off to the field we go. All right, so this is kind of what we're after here. And I'm not sure what these are. These are some kind of insect, I think. I believe this is sand sage, but I'll have to look it up because I'm not 100% certain. So this one is pretty small compared to some of the other ones out here. I don't know how well you can see those, but there are some really large ones out here. And I'm not really after those because they'd be a pain in the butt to dig up, for one thing. Most sage have a deep taproot, so I'm gonna have to dig down quite a ways down here, and then I might have to cut it off. I'm going to see if I can get this one out, and then I'm gonna go probably out there and look around in those sage bushes out there and see if I can find a couple more small ones. And this is small compared to some of them out there. I wanted to show you guys that I did find the taproot on this thing, and it is pretty large. I'm gonna go ahead and saw it off, but I may see if I can find some smaller ones that don't have such a taproot that has basically a reverse taper on it here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this one and then go out and see what else I can find. Okay guys, so I had to change my plans here. It seems that most of these are either dead or dying. I tried to pull up like 3 or 4 different ones, and they were infested with termites. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking for plants that still have some seeds on them, and I am trying to collect the seeds. And I will try to grow some of these from seed, where I know they won't be termite infested. So that's kind of what I'm doing. A lot of those are probably empty holes, but there are some seed pods in here, or seed things in here. So you can kind of tell the fluffier ones and the ones that have opened here and released them, these are still attached. So I'm going to collect some of these. I'll probably get about half a bucket and then head back to the house. I'll have to feed the horses and then try to take care of these trees and stuff. Alright, so unfortunately, no sage bonsai, but maybe I can get some good plants out of this. I don't know. Alright guys, well, it's been an adventurous day. I have my sage seeds over there. I have to separate them out. And I have some elm cuttings. I have the large elm that's here. And I have some other cuttings in here. And I wanted to show you guys something, which was kind of sad news. So any of you who know anything about trees may recognize this. This is, let me show you these here. That's a symptom of Dutch elm disease. And that branch came off of that sapling. I guess it's kind of a tree now. That thing's almost 6 feet tall. So that tree is definitely infected with the Dutch elm disease. So it means that pretty much all of these cuttings and what I was going to do with this tree is useless. In light of that, I decided I'm going to try some stuff, and I have a mixture up here. And most likely it won't work, but I've got nothing to lose, so I'm going to go ahead and try it. And I'm probably going to cut this thing down a little bit so that it's not quite so tall. It's almost up to the fan. I guess there's about maybe a foot, maybe not even that much. But I'm going to cut this back a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and pot it up in one of these 5-gallon buckets. And then I'm going to use my mixture, and I'm also going to do the same treatment to the cuttings. See what happens with them. So this experiment might take a couple months or a couple days. I don't know. But I will keep you guys updated as it goes. That's pretty much it for the day. I did, you know, after taking this, unfortunately, none of the elms outside are, I can't take propagation cuttings or anything from them because I guarantee they're all diseased. And looking at the destruction out there that you saw earlier in the video, I would say that was probably the main cause of their demise. That in combination with drought. So, anyhow, I'm going to get to work and run my little experiment. Okay, guys, so it is pretty late at night right now. The seeds that I collected, that was yesterday. The seeds that I collected yesterday, I did find out these are not sage, but they are in the sage family. This is actually what's called rabbit brush or rabbit bush. They're not exactly the same as a sage, but they're kind of in the same family. And I think they could still be used as an interesting bonsai. In addition, they're actually relatively beneficial. They drop, as you can see, a lot of debris with the seeds. They can help to rejuvenate soil, although they normally grow in drought conditions. So if you see these things popping up, your soil probably isn't very good. My seed trays, I really only got those for the seeds that are now sitting in the refrigerator and the ones coming from Bulgaria. It's taking a while to ship. And I don't even know if I have enough trays for the seeds that are coming. I think there will be somewhere around 1,000. Who knows how many will germinate. Anyhow, there are probably more than 1,000 seeds in here. So I didn't have a seed tray. I kind of came up with this hopefully solution. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a handful and put it in there. Put a little bit of soil over the top and just go ahead and water them in. There's drain holes in these, so hopefully I won't waterlog the seedlings or the seeds here, because I'm not entirely certain what else to do with these guys. So I think I'll just take a handful of them and throw them in there. And that's probably not the way to plant seeds. In fact, I'm relatively certain it's not. And I'm not going to cover them with much soil, because these things, they actually normally sit on the top of the soil. And then they get like rained in. So yeah, that's definitely not the way to plant seeds. That was too much. Probably too much here anyways. So I probably won't be able to plant all these because there's just so many of them. But I'll plant some and, you know, see what happens. So we'll take less of a handful. And actually, maybe I'll just sprinkle these in here too. There, we'll just do that. I mean, these things put out a lot of seeds, so you can kind of bet that not a whole lot of them germinate. Oh, a handful that big. So, this is what I'm going to do with them, because I'm not sure what else to do with them. I suppose if I went and bought a bunch more seed trays and stuff, I could have done this a little bit better. But they, when I was looking at them out there, looking at the ones on the ground, they kind of bunch up like this anyways. A lot of them end up, the branch ends up breaking, and it just falls on the ground, and they kind of stay there. So I don't think this is too much different from what they do naturally. Let's see, did I put seeds in here? I can't remember now. No. Okay. I need to remember which ones I've done. Let's see, I've done all of these. Okay. If they do germinate, which I think at least some of them will, I think they'll make a really interesting bonsai, because they kind of have like these almost tufts at the top, which is where the branches and the flowers come from. And I think they could be very interesting. So we'll just try it. Never hurts to try it, right? And if I decide that they aren't going to make good bonsai, I can always take the plant out to the field and go ahead and plant it. So, and these can be grazed on by animals, by livestock animals and wildlife, like deer and elk. They can be grazed on in the winter months, and these bloom pretty late. So they're actually really good for the fall, late summer, late summer to late fall, basically, where if you have bees and pollinators that are still looking for food for the winter, these are actually really good at providing that because they bloom so late in the season. So, I mean, we'll see. So definitely, I will definitely keep you guys updated on this little project. Okay, so one other thing. I did go ahead and plant the branch, and I have a bunch of these soaking in a solution. It's an antifungal solution, and I've watered this with the antifungal solution. And I'm just curious to see what these trees will do if they will produce any roots, and if they will be able to fight off the Dutch elm fungus. I have determined these cannot grow out in the greenhouse, though. I'm not entirely certain what to do with them, or where to put them. You know, this may be a futile effort, but once again, I can't do anything else with them, really, so I might as well kind of experiment. Let's see, tomorrow I will be planting the hybrid poplar cuttings that I got. They've got quite a few roots on them now, so I will go ahead and pot those up tomorrow. The corkscrew willows are getting some roots going, and the black willow has root buds on it, and it's starting to get some leaf buds on it, but the roots aren't really coming out yet. And my little cuttings that I did, they have leaf buds on them, but there's no visible roots yet. So I'm just going to leave those and see what happens with those. Maybe I got 3 free trees. I don't know. Doesn't hurt to try. Okay, so I'm going to get these watered in, and it's pretty late, so I will be going to bed soon. I will edit this all together and get it posted. Alright, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification, and if you enjoyed this, please share it with other people. Have a great day, or great night, whichever it is.